Howdy folks, Nathan here with my very own 2023 Hyundai Santa Cruz SEL, and it's mine. It's the one I bought. And I've had it for over 18 months. In that time, I've put on over 23,000 miles. Other than one issue, which I'll bring up at the very end, have been no issues. And I've really beat up on this thing. I've taken it off-road. I've taken it through snow and ice and a torrential downpour. It's been through, about 2.5 feet of water, a lot of it. It's been through some very gooey mud. And I've driven it daily back and forth from Aurora, Colorado, up to Boulder, Colorado. And that is between 41 and 45 miles each way, depending on which route I take. So in that time, as a commuter and as a utility vehicle, really, I cannot fault it. It is a great car, but I'm selling it. Yep. By the time you watch this video, it'll be about 2 weeks before it's out of here. Why? Well, the main reason is I don't really need it anymore. TFL doesn't really hold on to cars or trucks particularly long times, as you know. But in this case, this vehicle, well, it's just not going to work for where I'm going. You see, I'm leaving Colorado and I'm going to be opening up a new TFL Studios branch in Southern California. And when I do, I won't be commuting like I do now. In addition, I'll be driving a lot more studio cars that are coming in for me to evaluate. And as some of you may have heard, I've decided to buy the 1997 Ford Expedition from Roman and the Studios as a vehicle that I'm going to use to help me move to California. Okay, now, one of the things that I've done to this vehicle is if you look down there, those tires, those are BF Goodrich Trail Terrain tires, and I am thrilled with them. It is one of the best things I put on this. Actually, it's really the only thing I put on this. They have been outstanding in every type of weather condition and terrain condition that I could throw at it. I've taken them to Moab, all over Moab, in soft sand, over hard rock, and on some pretty difficult trails, and the traction has been outstanding. I've also taken them through snow, mud, ice, slush, hail, heavy, thick water, like East Coast water that somehow made it over here. Just the really heavy stuff. Great tire. Really, there's only one issue with the tire, and that is I've noticed that my MPG dropped about 1-ish MPG overall. Now, speaking of that, this car has been averaging, this is combined, about 25 MPG. It gets as good as 30 on the highway, and that's like, all conditions have to be perfect. And it can get as low as, say, about 10 MPG driving in stop-and-go city traffic, especially under load. This thing does not like to haul under load. Which brings me to one of the issues with this vehicle. Really, the main issue I have with it. And that is, I've towed with it twice. Now, in that time, it's done very well. This thing is so utilitarian. It's got so much going for it. You would think, okay, it should be decent at towing. And yeah, up to 2,000 pounds, it's fine. This is rated to tow up to 3,000 pounds. Now, 3,000 pounds, actually 3,500 pounds, way too much. It has 191 horsepower. And up here in Colorado, 191 horsepower ain't gonna cut it when you're towing 3,500 pounds. That's the first thing. 2,000 pounds is really the max. And then after I towed twice with it, I got a notice from Hyundai, and they said, bring your car in or else it's going to burn your house down and chase your family and murder them. No, it didn't say that part. It said the other part. And what they wanted to do was disconnect my 4-pin wiring harness for towing. Okay. Apparently what happened was the A unit had an arc, and that arc meant that there could, in theory, be fire danger. So, to be safe, Hyundai said, okay, we're going to disconnect all the 4-pin wiring harnesses and replace them. That was a year ago, over a year ago. And I have not received a replacement. Worse still, I haven't heard from Hyundai directly, other than them regurgitating exactly the same thing they said a year ago. Nobody, and I've been on forums, I've been all over the internet, And I've talked to other owners, and nobody has received anything from Hyundai saying, okay, look, we're still working on the problem. So over a year, there's been no fix for something relatively simple. And I know what you're saying right now. Kurt and other companies do build a wiring harness that you can install in the vehicle. Why didn't you do that? Yes, they do. However, because I am a guy who paid for the towing package, like many of you out there, and yes, I want to tow little tiny trailers with it, I feel that a year is a little long for a simple component to be replaced. But that's not the reason I'm getting rid of it. This thing has been so good, the utility's so great. Let me show you something. I've been using this all the time, and I didn't realize how good this is. And I mean, I banged around off-road and everything else. You could see, oh, there's still some Moab sand here. And I've kept drinks in here, food in here, a tent in here. Right now I'm keeping some backpacks and some things to wear and an emergency toolkit in here. I love having this. Now, the Honda Ridgeline has this as well, but it's even larger. But I think that this one is a good size, especially because it's just a little too small for certain journalists to shove themselves inside of. I'm going to miss this car. I really, truly am. But I don't need it anymore. And that's really the main reason why I'm getting rid of it. I'm not asking you guys to come and buy it. It's a different situation. I'm pretty sure I have a seller or two lined up who I'll get decent money for it. I paid $32 and just a little bit of change out the door for this, and I'll probably get between $26 and $28 for it. I'm of course hoping for $28. So it's a little bit of a drop, but bear in mind, there is a new one that's coming out very soon with a new front end and tow hooks and some other goodies. So there you go. Wanted to throw out a little side note for you people out there who have said some really interesting and quite creative comments about me driving and owning this vehicle. Many of them I can't really repeat on camera. However, I can say one or two of them. One person recommended that I go to see an OBGYN if I'm uncomfortable driving this. Another person said I must be a cat owner and have several cats and sit in solitude to drive this. That was a really inventive one. Oh, and another person said that my license should be revoked and changed and have a certain color background on the actual driver's license itself to reflect my change in my manhood. In other words, return your man card. And there's been dozens, if not even 100 more rather negative comments, and I get that. That's because we have one of the largest truck channels on the internet, video truck channel content. Yeah, Andre's the man. And yes, he owns a proper truck. This is not a proper truck. I'm not even going to debate that. It's a pickup, and I've used this bed more than an awful lot of people I know who have power wagons and Raptors and everything else, way more than they have. This thing has loaded tons of stuff. So it's a good little utility pickup. Is it a truck? Nah. I mean, it doesn't have a frame. Andre and I will go back and forth on this. He says if it has a bed, it's a truck. I say it's a utility pickup, and it is a very good utility pickup. Now, one final thing. I think you guys were asking about buyer remorse in the past, whether or not I should have bought the Maverick. And there are times to where I really wish I had it. The Maverick hybrid, that is. That hybrid, I mean, over 40 miles per gallon, that would have saved me a ton of dough. I would have done some longer trips with it and everything else because I would have had more money to work with, right? However, I've heard that there have been a ton of recalls with the Maverick, and I'm kind of glad that that hasn't really been an issue with this, even though it has a one damn recall, which I'm furious about. Anyway, thanks for joining me. Adios, vehicle. Within the next couple weeks, there'll be a brand new owner. I'll see you next time.